I want you to consider your low-level activities today. Think about what are the things that you're doing that are not good use of your time. I know I would be no good, firstly, at doing graphics, writing posts out. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in doing things that are not good use of my time. I want to hire people to do those things for me. So I want you to really think about what ideas are you working with that not serving you well? What are you doing that doesn't equal your hourly rate, your hourly worth? Anything below that, you sub it out, you give it to somebody else. Get yourself a freelance. There's so many different ways you can hire people on an ad hoc basis. You don't need to have a full-time wage. So I want you to think about your vision moving forward. Cast a vision for yourself, your business. Then you put the infrastructure in place. Are you enjoying your business? What's the downsides of it? What really gets on your nerves about it? Are you exhausting yourself, working way too many hours, wearing all the hats in your business, trying to do everything from A to Z? Why are you actually enjoying your business? We got to give it a clap for the camera dude. So let's talk about the day you decided that you were going to start your business. What was the intention of starting your business? Was it just to make money, earn money, have a beautiful lifestyle? A lot of people get into business and they get caught up in a trap. They get caught up in a prison. They become an employee of their own business. And this doesn't just happen for a couple of months. It happens for years, decades. In fact, I know people that have been in business for over 30 odd years and they're still tied to their business. They can't escape their business, and you don't want to make that mistake. So what I've done with my business now, I designed it in a certain way. First, I thought to myself, you know what? I want to be a millionaire. Did that, got boring, right? So it's not just about the money. Earning money is great, but you've got to enjoy the process. You've got to enjoy the time that you're earning money. A lot of people tell themselves that, you know what? I've just got to make sacrifices. Let me just grind away 10, 15, 20 years, and then I'll enjoy my life when it comes to retirement age. They make the sacrifices and miss out on family time, and they're not really enjoying life. And that's not what life is about. We don't know how long we've got in life. We don't know. We're not guaranteed a tomorrow. We're not guaranteed the next minute. But what we are guaranteed is here and the now. So it's really important what you're doing here in the now, how you're living your life. Let's look at your business. Do you work weekends? People say, well, yeah, I work weekends. Well, why? Because I have to. You don't have to do anything. Look at companies like Apple, Nike. How would that business was started? Do you think the owner, well, I don't think probably got an owner now, probably got a board of directors or whatever, right? Do you think the owner was actually in all the stores working, packing, selling stuff on the tills? No. Look at Apple. Look at Steve Jobs. Obviously, he's not here with us anymore, but all them Apple stores, he weren't the one running it. You get people to run your show. So you should have a vision for your business. You should cast a vision. It's really important. I didn't used to really understand this talk before, having a vision for your business. I thought it was just about how big you want it, how much turnover that you want, how many locations that you want. It's not all about that. What I've done with my business is I've actually designed it in a way where I don't need to be there all the time. I don't need to be grinding away all the time. It's really important that you have that for yourself, right? Now, it doesn't need to take 10, 20 years to do that. Grab yourself a piece of paper and ask yourself, right, what would my ideal day look like? I remember when somebody really successful says to me, hey, Mindy, if you can't walk away from your business for a couple of weeks or a week when you want without having to spend months planning, you ain't a business owner. You're an employee of your own job. And I was like, wow, that really hit me. It hit me hard because that's what I was doing. And I thought I was a business owner. It felt all great. The title felt good, that you're a director of a company or the owner of the company. All sounds good. In hindsight, right? Is it really as good as it sounds? A lot of businesses look great from the outside, but you don't know what's going on the inside. So we're often comparing ourselves to other people, other people's businesses, but you don't know what that person's dealing with. Think of the most successful person that you know, or maybe a handful of business owners that you know personally. You think how many hours are they actually working? A lot of the time they look stressed out, burnt out. I know people that are 30. They look like 60 because they're so worn out, so drained out. The life has been sucked out of them. Don't be one of those where your business just drains everything out of you. Two reasons that most people get into business for. One is financial freedom and the other is time freedom. How many people actually end up with any of them? We're being conditioned that if you want to be successful, you got to work hard, you got to grind away. Think about when you look at hiring people, hiring staff. How many business owners do you know that they can't trust their staff? They feel that they have to do everything. They got to watch over, micromanage everyone. You know what? They might mess it up. Well, give them some responsibility. This is a big mistake that people do, is they hire staff and they don't delegate enough to them people. I often have conversations with people like,
you know what, Mindy, I'm working way too many hours. I've got to do this, that, and the other.
I ask hey, listen, what's your daily routine look like?
I've got to do this, I've got to do that, got to do this, got to do that, got to do this, got to do that, got to do this.
So you got a staff team?
Yeah.
What do they do?
Well,
can they not do it?
Yeah, well, you know what? I don't really trust them. They might mess it up.
Let them mess it up once. So right, this is where you learn, don't do it again. So many people are afraid of actually handing over responsibility. Now think about it. Let's say you're paying somebody $30,000 a year to do something and you end up doing their job. It's not good, right? Give them some responsibility. Give them a bit of freedom. As long as you train your team, train your staff to do things, it should get done. If it doesn't, you get rid of them. Use your resources so you can actually free yourself up. recently I was talking to one of my clients, and he was having to do a lot of his ordering and stuff. He owns a really highly successful like retail fashion store, and he was having to do a lot of buying and stuff. And I'm like, why don't you delegate some of this stuff out? So we put a little routine together, and it freed him up immensely. Made a massive difference to how much he's actually in the business. Now that's what we've got to start to do. We've got to buy back time, because time is the most precious, most valuable thing that we have. You can't get time back. You can get money back, you can lose your money, and you can make it back. But once you lose your time, you can't draw that time back. So you've got to be very cautious about time leakages. It's a huge thing. How many hours have you wasted doing things that you shouldn't be doing? Imagine how much free time that you can actually generate that's already there. All you got to do is be wise with your decision making. First, you got to design your business. Say, all right, listen, this is the amount of hours I want to do, right? I don't want to work no more than 40 hours a week. Right now, you might be doing 60. You might say, well, how am I going to get rid of 20 hours? Delegate. Think about all the things that you can hand off to other people. Design your business in a way where you've got great people around you. You've got great systems in place where you can actually have more time to yourself. Like maybe you're working them weekends. Maybe you don't want to do the weekends anymore. Firstly, ask yourself a question. Why am I doing the things that I'm doing? Really get real with yourself. Why am I working weekends? You got staff, get them to work weekends. How much is your time worth to you? The other thing is a lot of people are doing like $10 an hour jobs. Think about what is your hourly rate worth to you? What are you worth per hour? So just imagine you've got a job. Just say you're a lawyer, for example. Let's use a law example. And you're making like $250 an hour. You drop your $250 an hour job that you do, right? The service that you provide for $250, and you go around on LinkedIn. You're on LinkedIn trying to prospect people. You're sending emails out to people. You're answering people's phone calls. You're going over your social media stuff or whatever. What's that job worth to do them mediocre tasks? $15, $20? An admin assistant can do that, where you lose $220 an hour by you relieving yourself from the stuff that you should be doing and doing low-level activities. I want you to consider your low-level activities today. Think about what are the things that you're doing that are not good use of your time. I know I would be no good, firstly, at doing graphics, writing posts out. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in doing things that are not good use of my time. I want to hire people to do those things for me. So I want you to really think about what ideas are you working with that not serving you well? What are you doing that doesn't equal your hourly rate, your hourly worth? You must have an idea of what your time is worth to you. Anything below that, you sub it out, you give it to somebody else, get yourself a freelancer. There's so many different ways you can hire people on an ad hoc basis. You don't need to have a full-time wage. So I want you to think about your vision moving forward. Cast a vision for yourself, your business. Then you put the infrastructure in place. If you're running a business and you're doing everything yourself, you're a muppet like the one on the screen here. Right? Well, if you can't see the screen, if you're listening to Spotify, but the YouTube version gets a muppet. Right? So think about it. Be wise with your time. Up level your thinking. Start to think more of yourself. Start to have a bit more confidence. Start to trust more in yourself. Start to trust your team a bit more. Start to trust processes. Model someone who's highly successful. Maybe it's in your field or it's not in your field. You've got to be able to invest some money into the machine. I was talking about this on my elite coaching call last night. My elite coaching's wicked, right? So we're talking about how to help them build sustainable self-led businesses that are cash rich and highly profitable. How would you like a cash rich business where you got surplus amounts of cash, more than you need for the basic running of your business? So there's always cash flow in there. I've got good cash flow on business, highly profitable, self-led. So I've designed it that way. It's a long far cry from what it used to be like, me doing like 100-hour weeks. Wow, man, I cringe when I look at some of the stuff that I used to do maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Life was in a different level. It's all in your awareness. I remember Bob Proctor used to say, like, you're not making $20,000 a month because that's what you want to make. You're only making that because that's all you know how to make. Think about what you're making right now each month. Think about how much you're producing. I'm not just talking about turnover. Let's look at your personal income. Why are you making that much? That's probably all you're aware of how to make. I wasn't aware of how to make more than $2,500 a month. I wasn't aware. Now, once my awareness shifted, so did my income. And it happened with me reducing down my working hours. It's illogical, right? Because most people believe that if you want to earn more, you've got to work more. And that's a load of nonsense. Some of the most wealthiest people in the world don't even work in the Mediterranean or the Caribbean on the yachts, in helicopters and flying, doing some jet skiing and all that sort of stuff. So it's really not down to working more hours. It's about shifting your awareness, becoming more smarter. Really think about yourself. Are you happy running your business this way? Are you delegating? Are you able to let go? Or are you a control freak? Don't be a control freak, because the other thing is, when you're a control freak, guess what? You only imprison yourself. You ain't controlling anybody. You're being controlled. People say, well, I'm a control freak and this, that, and the other, but you ain't a control freak. You're a prisoner in your own business. Business should be giving you that time freedom and money freedom. It's those conditionings that people have where we're conditioned to think, you know what, if you're not there, if I'm not there, my team are not going to perform well. They're going to mess about. They're going to play dominoes during work time. It doesn't work that way. Think about how much it's actually costing you in terms of your happiness, your inner peace, by you being there 24/7. I don't want to do that, and you don't have to. So you got to up your game. You got to up level your way you're thinking. Listen, design your business. Look, we design our kitchens for sake, right? We design everything. We design our garden. garden, the lawn, the patio, you know, where the flowers are going to be, but you don't design your business. You don't design the way you're going to live. Huge problem. Use your imagination to start to up-level your thinking. Do you want to run a highly profitable, cash-rich, self-led business where you got that freedom, you got time, you got choices, where you can go out on holiday for 2 weeks at a time, 6 times a year if you want? Maybe write down a little vision for your business today. Get a pen and paper. This is how I want my business to be. Design it. Then you find answers. Now, if you don't have a question, you won't have answers. As soon as you write that thing down, your subconscious mind is going to go to work. And you say, look, hey, listen, subconscious mind, figure this out for me. Your subconscious mind is your supercomputer, but how many people actually use it? Everybody's relying on their conscious mind, their conscious thinking. Now, you get an idea, you hand it over to your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is going to find a way to decode that. It's going to find a way to make things happen. It's going to start to generate all sorts of ideas. Now, you got your reticular activating system, right? Have you ever bought a car and all of a sudden you start seeing that same car everywhere? You bought a handbag, you bought some trainers or something. You talk about going on holiday to Las Vegas and all you start seeing is like promotions for Las Vegas. You walk down the high street and there's posters or billboards, like, come to Las Vegas, whatever happens, Vegas stays in Vegas. So why does that happen? Because your brain starts to filter out all the stuff that's like not important to you, and it starts to bring out highlights of things that are important to you. Think about that. Every time you buy that new car, right, you start seeing it everywhere. Your brain figures out, hey, this is important to Mindy. So every time it spots something, it like draws it to you. I remember last year I was like driving in traffic, sitting there at the roundabout. There's like a junction there, right? I was just looking ahead, and all of a sudden, something made me look that way. And there was a car, the number plate said like Mindy on there, more or less. It wasn't Mindy, but some of the MDY, it was or something, like the last 3 like letters. And straight away, my brain drew my attention to that. Had I been a fraction of a second later, I would have missed that. But here's the thing, my brain picked that up way before it got here. It picked it up when it's probably about, I don't know, 50 meters away from me. Not that my eyesight's that good, but my brain picked that up and it drew my attention to that. So once you start doing that, you start to figure out things so fast. Now, we're not alone on this planet, right? We're guided. We've got super intelligence, but we've got to tap into that. So don't just rely on your conscious thinking. Hand that idea over to your subconscious mind and let it figure it out. Your subconscious mind is your superhuman computer. So powerful. I used to read lots about the subconscious mind and I didn't really understand it. But once you actually instruct your subconscious mind, it figures out everything for you, decodes everything. It's just magical the way it happens. Think about it. Your creator, whether you believe in God or the universe, didn't just place you on this planet Earth with just your body. It gave you all the resources that you need. But over the years, we've been bombarded with stuff happening on the outside, conditioning that's actually like suppressed ourselves, right? So we like robots. You get into a routine and you stay in that routine for year in, year out. Why do you think most people walk the way they walk? They don't start changing the way they walk, the way they talk. You notice accents. People that live in certain parts of the certain country have a different accent. That's culture. That's group conditioning, right? You know what I mean? Yeah, right? You know what I mean? Don't know where that come from, but it's an accent, right? All right, calm down, calm down, calm down. Scousers, right? They don't say calm down, but you know, probably gets late now. But Cockney, right, mate? How you doing, governor? You all right, governor? Yeah, I'm good, mate. South London. So we got accents. Certain areas have certain accents. It's just culture. Same thing. You hang around with people that are doing similar things as you. Guess what? You're going to do similar things as them. All right, Jimmy? Really think about casting a vision for your business. Really, really important, right? Design your business. Don't be a slave to your business. Go all out or go back to bed.